evaluating speech. Brandon?
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and Lloyd. Welcome to the hot bench. It's good for you. For those of you who haven't looked at the new Pathways rubric, it's really hard to get 5s. So we got 2 5s. Awesome. But it is really hard. Take a look at those rubrics and see if you can attain that level. What I love, Lloyd, is that you have a high level of confidence, which you have always had, probably from being a teacher for many years and dealing with rambunctious teenagers who really don't care what you're saying. And so we actually care what you're saying, so you have a lot of confidence. And we're always thoroughly engaged in your speeches. Everyone pays attention, everyone looks at you, laughs at the appropriate moments, especially when they're funny, sometimes when they're not. You also have useful gestures, except for your right hand, always parks here. So your right hand usually hangs out, and then when you do your gestures, it is great. You do your gesture thing, and then your right hand parks here. This is a hard thing for me because I always have a problem with my hands too. No matter how many times I give a speech, they're always out here doing something. I don't like to do this because it's normal, but it feels awkward, as everyone tells you. Last speech, you gave us a little bit of hint of your challenges in a small group setting. And I appreciate that because I have that same challenge. In a small group, for me, it is harder to address everyone. Larger group, it's easier to address everyone. That explains why every time I'm up here, I'm always saying eye contact, eye contact, eye contact. And still, I'm going to say it to you again later. Eye contact, because you have that spot on the floor that you still like to look at. And then you do the shotgun approach with eye contact that I do, which works great in a group setting. But when we're personalized and not small, you need to look at each person individually, jump around the room, give them a few seconds. I have that problem too. And then you had this great speech, this wonderfully crafted speech, and you ended with a not very persuasive argument. You said, "Don't worry about me, I'm well insured." Which, in my opinion, you were trying to persuade me into the single single payer system, which is great and wonderful, and you presented that argument very well. And then you said, "But I'm well insured, so it doesn't really apply to me." It's kind of what you said to me in your closing line. And I thought that was a little bit distracting from the persuasive speech. Overall, you had something that I love in Toastmasters. We're supposed to not address controversial issues in Toastmasters, though that rule is never written anywhere. And I love it when controversial issues are addressed in Toastmasters because it's always done well. And if it's not done well, we just kick you out of the club. I don't think you're getting kicked out today, Lloyd. Congratulations, well-developed speech, very well organized. Thank you, Lloyd.